Good morning, everyone. It's a thrill to stand here, not just as the founder of Serverpod, but as a fellow developer and innovator. Today isn't just about a new product release, it's about the vision coming to life. A vision that we are all a part of. Serverpod 1.2, codenamed Cyberpunk, is more than an update. It is a bold step into the future of Dart on the back end. It embodies our relentless pursuit of making server-side development easier and more delightful. Let's take a moment to appreciate where we've come from. Serverpod has always been about making your server-side story as compelling as your client-side one. From the very start, our mission was clear: to bridge the gap between server and client-side development, to create a seamless, integrated world where your ideas can flow freely. With Serverpod, you write less code, but you do more. Today, Serverpod stands as a testament to what we can achieve when we dare to rethink the norms and when we put the developer experience at the heart of server design. With over 4,500 developers now part of our vibrant community, we're not just building a server, we're crafting a movement, a new way of thinking of server-side development. Our developers love our automated model and client-side code generation. This game-changing feature saves development time, cuts down on the code you need to write for a project, and it ensures that your client is always in sync with your server. The lightweight mode we introduced in version 1.1 makes it easy to deploy your Serverpod to Google Cloud Run or host it yourself. Our Dart-first ORM makes it possible to talk with your database using Dart's native types and null safety. You can even pull a row from the database and send it straight to the client. We handle your file uploads, authentication, data streams, task scheduling, and caching. All this with APIs designed to be super easy to use. You may only need some of these features initially, but they will be there, ready to use the day you do. Countless apps are being built with Serverpod, and we would love to highlight one of them today. This is Kieran Oldham from MyOpNotes, an app helping surgeons in the UK take better notes during operations.
Hi, I'm Kieran, the CPO and CTO at MyOpNotes. It may come as a surprise to learn that the majority of surgical operations around the globe and here in the UK are documented, often still by hand, in an unstructured and non-standard format, leading to errors and significant inefficiencies both within the hospital and across the wider healthcare system. The documents in question are operation notes, pivotal medico-legal documents written by surgeons post-procedure. They intend to encapsulate surgical techniques, complications, and outcomes, serving as a formal record for continuity of care and a vital communication tool among healthcare professionals. However, when these notes remain unstructured and siloed away, as is often the case, important data is missed, details are forgotten, and their true potential remains untapped. They hold a wealth of valuable surgical data that, when properly formatted and analysed, can drive advancements in surgical practices, clinical research, and healthcare policies, ultimately leading to better patient care and a more efficient hospital. MyOpNotes is our answer to these outdated practices. Our digital platform streamlines the creation of operation notes by utilising bespoke and malleable smart templates, built by surgeons for surgeons, covering all specialities and surgical procedures performed in the UK. This not only captures crucial surgical data, but also facilitates easier reporting and auditing, enhances the flow of information, reduces error-prone double entry, and improves hospital reimbursement through our deep integration with clinical coding, elevating patient care and tackling these inefficiencies head-on. As you can imagine, developing clinical software for the NHS is not easy, especially when you only have a modest development team. Due to strict security and compliance requirements and being in a heavily regulated industry, our digital strategy and tech stack was crucial to our success. We ultimately decided on a full Dart stack, employing Flutter for its rich UI and platform support, and Serverpod for its robust back-end performance and improved development efficiency. This choice, although novel in health tech, proved to be one of our best, as it allowed our developers to seamlessly transition between front-end and back-end development, enabling faster problem-solving and enhanced productivity. The synergy between Flutter and Serverpod has moved the goalposts for what a team of our size can accomplish. It's Its automation scripts for AWS infrastructure setup through Terraform were a game changer, handling most of our security and regulatory requirements from the get-go. It simplified our architecture, facilitating rapid iterations and quicker deployment of features that matter to our users. To summarize, I can wholeheartedly recommend exploring full-stack development with Dart, Flutter and Serverpod. Once you've experienced this synergy between your infrastructure, back-end and front-end, coupled with the ability to develop for virtually any platform from a single language and code base, there's no going back. Visit myopnotes.co.uk to learn more about our mission and the transformation MyOpNotes is bringing to surgical documentation. Alternatively, you can read my latest article where I go into more detail about the technical journey of MyOpNotes. And lastly, a big thank you to Victor and the Serverpod team for their support and for inviting us here to share today. Bye for now.
Thank you, Kieran. That was truly inspiring. And congrats on your release. It's so incredible to see all the things that are being built with Serverpod. It really is what keeps us going. Now, let's dive into what's new in Serverpod 1.2 Cyberpunk. This release is special. We've put more man-hours into Cyberpunk than all our previous updates combined. We have taken great care to make Cyberpunk completely backward compatible with earlier versions of Serverpod. However, we have unified the names in the database layer, so there are a few deprecations. Upgrading to Serverpod 1.2 is still easy and guides developers toward the upcoming 2.0 release, where we're going to remove the deprecated methods. First, let's talk about database relations and migrations. These are two huge new features. We have rethought the database interactions from the ground up. Imagine handling complex relationships in your database with the simplicity of type-safe Dart code. We now handle one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many relations. Your models fit right into the rest of the Serverpod ecosystem with caching, streaming, and serialization. We have also added support for handling database migrations. On startup, we check the integrity of your database. When you add or modify your database, we automatically provide a migration path, complete with SQL queries. Here's Alex to give you a tour of the improvements we have made to the database layer.
We are thrilled to give you a tour of the improvements to working with databases in Serverpod. First, let's take a look at our new relation keyword. The relation keyword is used to express an object relationship between two serializable entities stored in the database. In the Dart world, this corresponds to a class having a field that references another object as opposed to holding a separate copy. The keyword informs the Serverpod code generator that an object relation is desired. This results in new methods becoming available in the ORM, and if not already expressed, modifications to the database schema to support the relation. Depending on how the type for the relation is defined, different ORM methods are generated. A simple class definition is interpreted as a one relation, and a list is interpreted as a many relation. If the same relation should be queryable from both sides, that is, two objects point towards each other, the relation can be given a name. To improve type safety and support these new functions, we rework the internals for our database methods. The new methods are found under a static DB field in the generated classes. And, as Victor mentioned, the older ones are planned for deprecation. Now that we know how to create serializable entities with relations, we can take a moment to explore how we have simplified applying these changes to the database. Serverpod now comes bundled with a migration system that makes it super easy to update your database schema. By running the new command create migration, the CLI compares the latest migration with the database schema currently expressed by the project, and then generates a database migration to roll it forward. Migrations are then applied through the server by adding the flag apply migrations. This makes it super easy to apply migrations in any environment we have a running Serverpod server. For our example, we also utilized a new maintenance role when applying the migration. In this role, the server applies the migration and then shuts down. And if the database schema ever gets out of sync with the migration system, through, for example, manual modifications, or you would like to roll back to an older database schema, repair migrations can be used. These create a unique migration from your live database schema to an already existing migration. With the knowledge of how we evolve our database schema, we are set up to explore our new query capabilities. Relational queries have never been so simple in Dart. Our Fluent API makes it intuitively easy to traverse relations in queries. This enables you to filter on, order by, or include data from related objects in the database. Using an entity with a relation, we can effortlessly filter on properties of related data by simply accessing those fields when building a query. And including the related data in the result is simply expressed through the new include query parameter. In this example, we only retrieve companies that are located in Sweden. And included with the data, we have their address information. The address information is then accessible through the address field of the company retrieved. And as an example, when querying a one-to-many relationship, this query only retrieves customers that have made more than 10 purchases. And included with the data are the 3 highest grossing orders. The query syntax is powered by an internal SQL query builder. This allows us to make smart decisions and optimize our queries over time to continuously give you great query performance. But this tour only scratches the surface of the new database capabilities. To understand how these can help you build your app, visit our updated and expanded documentation on the Serverpod website. Now, back to you, Victor.
Thank you, Alex. Next, we have supercharged our tooling. Serverpod already comes with Insights, our companion app for viewing logs and monitoring health metrics. It even lets you modify the settings of your server while it's running. But with Serverpod 1.2 Cyberpunk, we're taking our tooling to the next level. We have vastly improved our command line interface. It will give you better error messages if something goes wrong and provides correct exit codes. This helps with continuous integration and other automated workflows. We have created a VS Code extension, which uses our new language server to provide real-time feedback when building your data models. Finally, with the help of the DevTools team from Google, we're also making an integration with Serverpod Insights, which will place insights right inside the Dart DevTools. Isaac will show us more of our new tooling.
Thank you, Victor. Today, I'm thrilled to unveil the advancements Cyberpunk brings to the developer experience. Our CLI has undergone a significant upgrade. We fine-tuned the output to reduce noise and amplify the usefulness of information. Witness the difference when creating a new project. One substantial improvement lies in our protocol file linter. Previously, some errors went unnoticed, causing silent failures. Now it's more robust. For instance, duplicating table names across protocol files triggers an immediate error, pinpointing the exact location. The same goes for class names, index names, and many more. But here is where it gets even better. Imagine receiving error information directly within your editor. With our new VS Code plugin, errors are surfaced exactly where they occur in your code, live as you type. No more running separate commands. The feedback is instantaneous. This feature is built on top of the language server protocol. This means even non-VS Code users will be able to leverage this feedback in their editor as long as it has LSP support. Using an LSP client, you simply launch the Serverpod language server from the CLI with the command serverpod language-server. Now, let's delve into the integration of Serverpod insights within the Dart DevTools. Collaborating with Google, we seamlessly ported insights to the DevTools new plugin system. Fire up the DevTools using the -- observe flag while having the latest Serverpod version installed, and voila! You'll find the dedicated Serverpod tab, granting access to all your favorite insights features. In essence, these enhancements save time, improve code quality, and supercharge your development workflow. Now, back to you, Victor.
Thank you, Isaac. Now, those are some huge improvements to Serverpod, but it's far from everything that is new. In fact, we have added over 60 new features in this update and made over 100 fixes. We now have over 2,000 automated tests to ensure everything is super stable. The tests will not only make it faster for us to continue building new features, but also make it easier for community members to submit contributions. More developers than just the core Serverpod team have been working on this update. I'm sending a large thank you to everyone who has contributed by creating new features, fixing bugs, or filing issues. We want to do something special for you, so fill out our contributors form if you haven't already. We will be sending out some surprises soon. At Serverpod, we're not just building a server, we're crafting a community. And we're hiring. We're looking for passionate Dart, Flutter and infrastructure developers to join our team in Stockholm. If you are excited about shaping the future of server-side development, we would love to talk. As you have seen, Serverpod 1.2 Cyberpunk is more than an update. It's a new chapter and a leap forward for Dart on the back end. Still, this is just the beginning. We have so many cool features in the pipeline, and we will have much more frequent releases in the future. Follow us on YouTube and our social media to stay up to date on what we are working on. We cannot wait to see the amazing apps you will create with Serverpod. Thank you for joining us today, and happy coding!